Europe one, one day can pick
You can't worry about it again. Antas a country.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy though. But we'll be alright.
So how can you learn TV get it?
Anjen durang pinanong nga.
Yeah. I can buy
Guy, with third.
I mean,
Anyways, this is where we are right now with the account.
active.
But I mean, still not close some of that profit. It's 1,800 actually. But because I'm still on some of the trades, that's why it's not updated yet. But that's what I want. I'll show you guys the progress and tell you exactly what happened.
No loss.
We did have some losses, but the first trades we took, the US30 and gold trade, we were like 800. Obviously, gold ended up pulling back and hit stop losses, so that the account was back down in drawdown of 600 on the actual account balance. But obviously, patient. That's all that's gonna help us, and that is where we are. The last few trades what actually pushed the account higher, and the only thing this actually pushed was the risk management, bro. Like I'm just risking the same risk, like 250, 250 each trade. And then obviously that pushes the account here. As you can see here, this is in 1,300, which is currently the account balance. All the profits that are taken and shit like that. But the equity here is at 1,800 because I'm still in some of that trade here. So technically we are off 1,800 on the account. So this is what we're gonna do. I still believe. I feel like we can. This is gonna be done soon, though.
Yeah.
This is how to do the same thing, bro. Like scaling plan than fucking thinking. That's what we gotta do. When we pass this, obviously there is some fucking rent that are due. Not rent, I mean bills and shit like that. So we're gonna try to think around that, bro, because that's the trading. Like, if we can make profit to pay some of the expenses that are scaring us right now, we can make profit of anything that's low. So if we make those our profit target, because obviously, yeah, this man are telling you for me to give you my money, you need to trade and make me fucking 5,000. So if we do that, and now we need to think of our own life and use those as our profit target. I mean, so we get there. But to go back into the charts here, let's have a look on EURUSD and see exactly what's been going on. EURUSD, we did not take any trade at all on that shit. But the losses we are avoiding was the exact reason the account balance is where we are right now. And what we were talking about is I feel like that's what is actually happening there. Like the market potentially might try to come back to all the way to the last month or shit. So you can see we having that driven back down there. So I think it's looking good. So the losses we avoid, the first loss on EURUSD was here. If you guys remember, we were analyzing the chart and we seen this bullish behavior here. Seeing the bullish behavior, we were like, okay, if the euro trade back above here, we want to see a retest here. And when we see a retest here, we need to get what confirmation like this before we do any buy. Then that might give us the chance to say, okay, this market might actually go here. But we retest here. I was monitoring the 1 hour time frame. So whenever we're there, I'm just like, okay. And this was at 2 p.m. 1 p.m. I was monitoring this candle to see if it's gonna close anywhere above here. So the candle they end up doing that. See, just did this. This is exactly how I avoid the loss. Why? Because we did not get the cross above here how we want it. And looking at this candle formation, they're not clean. If it was something like this and we have the wick like this, that might be a good example, but obviously that didn't happen. So we avoid that loss on here. I was like, okay, let's see if we can monitor this area. But by the time I wake up anyway, 0USD was all the way back down here. So I'll just play this. That is how we avoid our loss. Market didn't end up doing nothing. We break below 1.17, and then I'm waiting for the next trading day to see if there is going to be anything, because I'm still paying attention to the structure and the area we highlighted. And there, you can see I have this line here before this candle even hits there. At that time, I was looking at these two candles here. I was like, okay, this 3 p.m. If we can have this candle actually pushes and closes back above here, but in my mind, I know I might have to wait until we actually cover this entire area, anyways, because you can still like, because we're still making some form of lower sense here. But that was the idea. The only reason I was tracking this is the area that we're reacting from, which is the very key area here, because we were expecting a rebound from here.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, that's how you avoid losses, man. I'm telling you. But market will wait to see that didn't happen. Look what end up happening. If you had taken this trade on a 15-minute time frame and shit like this, you would have easily be hitting your stop losses, because you would be looking at this and be like, oh, this is giving us 1, 2, 3. You buy that trade here, your expectations are gonna be high because you like, oh, this market is coming from the area that we're actually looking for price to rebound. So you taking this trade here, for example, you might even probably say you're gonna put your stop loss all the way below here or some shit. But if you put your stop losses here, I mean this trade, I promise you, market giving you this here, you're not gonna feel like you need to take any profit. You're gonna be thinking you're gonna hold that trade to go here, which is like taking the trade on that 1 hour time frame, paying attention to that candle there. That's what saved me in this trade. And then news happen, we even dump more. So that area we're paying attention to is one thing. If price trade below it now and continue going below it, calm, we're gonna use that area for one logic anyway. If we now trading below that area, the idea is one thing. We don't wanna look for any buy below here unless market actually come all the way to this level and even do something like this, maybe trade back above here and then we can buy here. But the area that we're monitoring, this area here, if we start to see market trading back above here on the higher time frame, let's say the daily time frame and shit like that, we can look for the retest and continue going here. So if you look at that on the daily time frame, this how this candle looks now. So technically this market is not telling you anything that is starting to form new higher low, because the structure is technically still this. Forgot why all this. So this is the structure here, because this is technically just making double top like this and then dumping. We're taking these liquidities here. So what we're paying attention to is this. If we have this breaking this high here, we're creating a new higher high. Technically, this is needed. So now within this move, what is happening here, we're paying attention to see if we can see some candles like this. So that might be other USD deep. This candle that just opened today, assume this might start to drop even further more, and then we might then start to see some candle then trading back above that area as confirmation, and then we can go from there. But the areas that we mark, if we pay attention to them properly, which is the monthly low here and the monthly open here, the 4 hour time frame, we can look for key areas. Let's say, okay, is the 4 hour, put this here. We are counter trending, we create a new high, then pull back, then we finish the counter trend. So technically this counter trend finished here because there is no structure. You could have used this here and say we pull back, we needed to go lower, we didn't do that. We break that structure, creating a new high, we then start to do this. But this is reaction of here. We react, we pull back, and then failure. So what causes the failure in this move here? That's why you need
Mm.
what area actually breaks the area that we're looking for. Because we were going high, we reacted. The first reaction on here was technically this. We reacted, we pull back from it, we get enough volume here, and then break the area completely. So technically, this area is what we need to pay attention to and said, okay, if market come back here, we might look for buy. This pullback here didn't actually tap into that area. So technically, that area there's still more liquidity here. That's why you start to see a lot of liquidity start to build. So we might start to look and feel that gap here. But think back in logically, that area is almost close to the areas that we might even look for buy anyways, which is these key areas here. So if you look at that area, where did that spike happen? We spike into the monthly open here of last month, and then price go here, and that's the last low we can pay attention to anyway. So if we gonna say, okay, this is the area we pay attention to, if no, we can even use these key areas here, because all we just need some form of projection around this area that we can use for our reference. So if we just highlighted this as for, let's just use it as forward demand. That's clean and better. So I'm just basically using this week here because this retest is basically happening here. We have the exhaustion here, reject, 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 and then buy. We come back down here again and bounce from there. Since then, we haven't tapped in that area, so market is just building liquidities here. So we can now easily help ourselves to avoid all these equal loss here that are building for liquidity on our USD, and said, okay, we're gonna wait until the market actually take this loss here. It might not come all the way to where we want, but as long as this liquidity start to be taken, that's all we're paying attention to here. So we can highlight that there, and then just set this from here and below. But that's how you build the ideas in this way. If you flip that around, technically you can see exactly what's happening.
Yeah, that's actually
Mhm. It's 7 up, and this is still first month of the year anyway, so still super early. But if you wanna use the area that market is reacting from right now, that was the actually last area that we get enough volume to shoot up and actually create the high that we just currently built. So these pullbacks here is just like, okay, this was a pullback intentionally for it to go and actually close it back above here, but did that happen? No. So technically, anything in this area is now building as liquidity that the market might want to take before we go here. And the push here is that they might even want to take the liquidity, the money that's resting below this low here. They might want to swipe this, and that swipe is exactly what we're looking for. So we can tap into the area that we want, and then we can have that long-term trend start to build on the USD. You get me? Yeah. Okay, so but yeah, so that is technically this is ideally our higher low point that we're paying attention to. So technically what we're looking for here, if you can see here, the candle is starting to reject, and this is exactly what you need. When you highlight a key area, especially if it's like especially if it's, let me just climb this. But to make it clean, like I said, whenever you see wick and you know you can just take the wick, it's better for you. You can see how we starting to reject actually on the wicks here. So if we take that wick here and just now closes this, we have two hot areas. Again, this we can easily avoid ourselves from being the first guys to be like, oh, USD is coming from extreme points, so technically you can look for buy here. We don't want to be those people anymore. We want to say the market can actually give us something that we look for. For example, let's assume we start to have some clean candles like this, something we can count as the truth information here. So if this happens like this, technically we can now start to say what we have our 1, 2, 3 information. So you can say 1, 2, ideally the 300 here. So to save yourself, we can just now highlight this 4 hour area and say we don't need any buy until we see price closing back above here. That give us the confirmation we need. Yeah. If that don't happen here, what would the market do? It's easily just gonna do the same thing. It's just gonna dump all the way here and then probably slowly start to build up and then continue going there. That is the idea that might happen.
That's hard. Just like seems like this red line.
Yeah, man, this red line to be honest, you just look for last card. When you see a drop, you look for the last bearish candle because if we're looking for 1, 2, 3, anyway, so technically that's the idea. If you wanted to buy here, you see the market drop. You don't want to do nothing until you see market closes back above the last selling candle after here. So you can see you wait, price closes there. You took your trade with patience and actually understanding why you took that trade. That's how you can catch this kind of move because we're building these ideas on higher time frames. So let's assume the same thing happened here. We have the close there. We managed to put our stop loss below here. Then we can definitely target this back high here and USD and hold it. Because it's one thing. If this is the previous higher low point, technically market shouldn't go below it. So if we get confirmation around here, the rest is one thing. We can manage that trade to give us the confirmation and trade that trend. It's gonna take time because how many days it took since December 24th to January 12th, we just in the counter trend. And that counter trend is the idea. There is very high chance the counter trend might end where it is right now. If it don't happen here, we can only go a bit lower, and that a lot of people might start to see this as a counter, like that structure is broken, but it's not broken. Like they're technically just trying to manipulate those early buyers that are in this trade here. The liquidity will be swapping these people to tap into this key area that we're looking for because they're institutional level, then we can continue going here. So this still will remain the structure as long as market trade below it, then trade back above it, retest it, it's gonna go. So that's the main structure. Yeah, so that's that for USD. We definitely just gonna wait. Probably set an alert here. Yeah.
Them never tell you before, say pressure must fight. Pick up for your car, manage you not fly. Better you suffer the consequence of your love fight.
Can now call this area something like break above, and then we can now call this area buy zone, wait for confirmation. So that is what happened on Euro USD, and this is exactly what we're looking for anyway. So these areas now they're irrelevant. We don't need them, they don't need us. In the past, all we can see here is a nice fucking trend building a lot of liquidity that we can potentially start to feel sometimes, soon. And to scale in this trade, bro, if we catch entry somewhere here, you let that trade run, you monitor here, because when price gets here, you don't want to be greedy. You want to make sure you're actually paying attention, because if this is the higher low, we can then come all the way back here and then dump and make another low. Yeah.
It's good to be aware of like higher response.
Yeah. So, but when the market does that, we just want to pay attention to see what the volume might be here. If price then try to force and actually break back above here, here, we can look for the same thing we were looking for here for the first time. Our idea, anyway. This is the thing. The market might not give you the same thing you were, the exact thing you were looking for, the exact area in the moment. You do whatever you are fucking do, and then trade back above that area and give you that thing exactly how you were looking for, and then continue going in that direction. And if that happened, to be honest, all we see in here is head and shoulder power and start to build. So we can technically confirm now that trend is switching back again. This is how we get ready for the market 2026, boy. But yeah, other USD, that's technically what we're looking for. We do have some minor counter trend here as well. So by the time market closes back above this counter trend here, anyways, we know okay, this that is giving us the confirmation that we're looking for. So we don't need too many lines. That's not how we trade. But they're subjective counter trend, but they always help you. 1 hour, you can see the same thing starting to build ish. Like you wouldn't want to do anything at this point in USD. All you need right now is understanding where market is reacting, because this kind of spikes are actually really good something to see, especially if they happen in the area that you're looking for. That's technically just telling you, okay, potentially there is very higher signs that we might start to reject here, because we're starting to reject. You can spike again, reject the thing that we're seeing or below it. But that you see the idea, unless price actually traded back above these areas, you have no reason to look for any trade. At this point, you don't even have to go to lower time frame, bro. You just need to wait for the higher time frame to build up, give us what we're looking for, and then we can go from there. That is that for USD. And then this trace here. Okay, see the market. See why I didn't close that trade. This is exactly what I was telling you as well. You can open and just gap up, and that's what happened. So gold, we can now do here. Go to the 1 hour, one daily time frame. I just want you guys to think this candles right now. I'm not trying to change anything. The trend that we analyze from the back testing, I'm trying to learn from that shit. So I'm just trying to pay attention to see that actually plays out how we want it to play. So the video that I posted, if you pay attention to that video, I was just saying the challenge was the 4,500 here. So Friday we see price closes back above here. So technically the higher low point that we build up here, we want that to go up, create a new higher high. So technically gold might spike up, we might retest here, but the idea is one thing, price needs to continue going higher. And that is what we're looking for here. So at this point, the daily is telling us exactly what we want anyway. So we break here this Monday. We're not gonna look for any entry on gold because we're still in those partial trade that we're in. But Tuesday and Wednesday, if price start to pull back, or if not, this might just continue going. By Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll break back above these areas here. If we retest them, we look for more continuation if we have to, so we can target that 4750 we were looking for. We're in the right time, bro. People are fucking targeting 5,000 on gold, and if you see where we enter, and if you see what the market has been trying to build from here, technically it's above something above here. And the trend is looking like this though.
Yeah,
Mhm. So gold is looking good. The forward time frame, the only time we're gonna look for continuation trade. Bro, I know someone that is in this same trade. He is he he posted today he's in profit of what 724,000.
what?
Almost a million.
No,
Yeah.
damn. I was just thinking when you say 700, like a 700 was
724,000, bro. That's fucking 100 to 300 away, 200K away from 1 million.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. That's why I want to tell you. These people, they do the same process we're trying to build right now. That's the same idea we were trying to build fucking back in 2023, 2024, 2025. It didn't happen. So we're still in that process. That is why we're building this little profit that we're targeting here, so we can start to get those bigger accounts, and this trade that we're taking, they can just be the same exact trade, but there's no difference. The only difference right now, they just have larger account, so technically their one trade is barely just 500,000 anyway, so we can't compare that to shit. What matters is this: probably our entries is way better than their entries
Facts, bro.
anyway.
Bro,
You
if
know what I
they
mean?
wanna learn it, they can learn from here, bro.
So yeah, goal is looking good. The next idea we're paying attention to, you always have to look left, bros. Like literally, bro, because we we were in this leg here. That's the high for last time. Again, we reacted the key area, pull back, what causes the failure. This is what causes the failure. That's exactly why price come here. He didn't want to trade it below here. And the same thing that is what was happening in the USD. It reacted, pull back, then break that area. What causes that breakout is this. We can now start to pay attention to see market build from there and go.
Oh, andro ko ay ginikain.
Yeah, man. And here, again, the same thing. We reacted this area, we fake close back above it, we trade back below it here, we reacted from here. We now had the pullback, and now we gain the breakout back above here again. So if we can start to have a pullback here, you know, give us some clear indication that gold might start to hold above 4,500, because it's a psychological level anyways. There's very high chance it's gonna hold. Then we can look for the continuation, and you can see that making so much sense with the structure, bro. Purely just trading the structure price action here. So we just need another pullback so we can have another higher low point ideally, and then we can scale back in. So there is always areas you can scale in. So that is that for gold. The 4 hour time frame looking clean. 1 hour, that is exactly what we want. So you see, 1 hour giving us this kind of pullback here. That is mainly you will look for, pay attention to areas like this. If gold then try to retest here, because what happened here? We trade above it, trade back below it, and then trade back above it. If we retest it, I don't think gold will retest that shit anyway. If we retest it, then that's what will happen. But you know what I was telling you about what AROUSD might do? But this area, if you remember, we were paying attention to this area on gold last Friday, whatever, I don't know. But we were saying we want to see market retest that area and then give us the continuation. But did that happen? No. Okay, and now we know, okay, price is trading below that area, spiking it, spiking it, spiking it, wherever. But the idea stays the same thing. The moment we see market breaking back above that area, we just want to see retest that area, give us clear indication it's now starting to hold the same exact area, which now applies to the exact idea that we were looking for before. So we look for the same idea, but it just take few hours before that happened. And bro, if you just get it confused and now you are the guy that say, oh, price trade below it, now I wanted to come back above that, below that area so I can sell, you fucking yourself up. But instead, if you just stick with the first idea, you just want it to back, come and trade back above there, back it, buy it. That is how you win.
Oh, that's what the smart people do like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, when you've been in the market for so long, bro, you just know what the fuck is going on, bro. But this area, we're gonna pay attention to here, but mainly me, I'm just looking at these areas now. I'm gonna say, okay, that's the 4 hour area. You can see we just reacting that here. But if I scale down into 1 hour area, I just like to use the last bit because I'm not looking to sell here anyways. I just want to see market trading back above here. So for it to trade, it needs to completely go back above here. So these areas are just going to be retest, confirmation, and spike back up. So if we just put that onto the next Friday. Let's go to Friday 2 p.m. That is what might give us our next potentially entry reason on goal. If that don't happen, we're just gonna pull back and we can go from there. But I still strongly believe gold can definitely not trade back above here, retest the key area, spike a few times, and then continue going higher from here. That is the next entry reason we're looking for on gold. That might happen Tuesday, might happen Wednesday, because Monday for sure, I'm not looking to get into any trade. So instead, we are gonna manage this trade that we're in. That is that for gold. So we know our next potentially idea for 15-minute time frame. Just pay attention to the lower structures.
Just trying some construct.
Okay. So we can now see the first trade idea. This idea was really good. Here we switch, we create a new high, make a new higher low, then create a new higher high, then make a new higher low, drag it, we create a new higher high, but we make a new higher low. And you can see the last candle here is aligning perfectly to the area that we actually target in. So that area, instead of highlighting this and say 15 minutes my spike here, we don't need any highlight. We know where this is coming from, and it's a psychological number. That is the only reason we're gonna look for that trade on there. So yeah, that's that for gold. Fucking hell, if you had closed this trade, you would have been like, and now you're gonna be the guy that will be triggered and be like, nah, I need to look for the next trade so I can get into this. Bro, whatever you gotta do to fucking avoid those emotions getting into your trade. Even if you gotta keep just 0.01 in that trade, let it play out to the exact thing that you was looking for. That's gonna minimize your emotion. Because even if you make $5 in that trade, it did exactly what you wanted to do. The one thing as a trading when it comes to like your psychology is this. You don't want the trade to do the exact thing that you wanted to do without you making even $1 in that trade. What that is gonna be is gonna trigger you to take that next dumb trade to try to revenge and make yourself feel like satisfied. It's not even just about the money anymore. You just telling yourself, oh shit, if I was right in this trade, now I need to do this shit so I can be right again. Like human, you just don't want to be wrong in
I
general.
know the anger is pulling in your head like why you actually closed for. Wow, I've been through them situations. Man. That's why I'm
You're learning a lot here, no? That's exactly what you do. When you go in your chart, don't worry about fucking taking the trade, bro. Worry about trying to understand the exact same thing. Don't try to build your own new perspective in the market. As you learn, you're gonna start to build your thing. But the same thing that we're doing here, try it until you actually see the same thing. Because if you cannot plot the same exact thing that we're talking about here on your own chart, it's more almost likely like you're not gonna be able to build your own idea in the charts to make your trade run. So if you get to like look at the chart and see the exact same thing that we're talking about here, that is how you're gonna learn. Bro. The rest is just going to be like that. But yeah, that is that for gold. We're gonna wait again. I'm just seeing the same thing. I'm not even seeing the move, but all I'm trying to see in this market is something like this. That is literally where I'm focused on right now. So a lot of people might just start to focus on this move here going higher. But me, I'm trying to pay attention to see if we can see something else like this here. So I can now expect the market might start to pull back, which is the exact same thing that I want. So when it pull back, I'll start to pay attention to the same exact thing here. So that can be here or that can be here. So we can go again and then buy the market. I mean,
something makes sense.
so we have that on gold, we're good. So now we pay attention and put an alert above somewhere this area, call that a break again. Break above. We wait for that. For these areas, technically we don't need to do nothing, so I'll just put this in here. So all these trades are risk free anyways, like there's no stop loss, the stop loss is in profit. So gold pushing nice. With that, we go to US 30 and US 30. Let's just go because we already did the back testing. You guys know where we are, right? So if we go here on US 30, okay, I'm just gonna delete this level. Let me do- We have the same idea, bro. Until we see these formations in this direction, we technically can just continue going to create that new higher high in a clear sense. And that's exactly what it's trying to do. So all these candles here are just technically continuation that we actually going higher. So we now know that daily is closing above the key area we highlighted on the weekly time frame. We break above it, we place it, we retest it, and then close below it, but now we have them close back above that area again. That is why this candle makes so much sense. We spike it and then buy. And then if you go on to the higher lower time frame like 4 hour, we use that as the structure. You can see we already highlighted this here. When market was here, what we were looking for, we were just saying, okay, we have the high here. We want to see price to retest here, give us confirmation and buy. What did it do?
That will happen later.
We break below that area, come back to that area. We even buy more here because we're paying attention to the structure here. But the same area that we were paying attention to, look what market did. It then trade back above that area you were looking for, create a high above here. Retest the same exact thing you were looking for to happen here. It didn't happen there yet, but it happened that second time and price is pushing high.
Yeah. That's exactly what I can do just then. I was like, what the smart people think about it.
Yeah, so it's happening on US 30, it's happening on gold, and it's happening in USD. So this kind of thing always end up happening in the market. You just need to know how you can be patient. But looking at US 30, we know for the facts until we actually take out this high here. Okay, even if we did another massive pullback, it's just an opportunity to look for more entries, you know what I mean? Because as long as we staying above the structure, the idea is one thing. We need to go and take out this high here. So pullback gonna give us more entry reason we can buy and then target that for 49750. So with that being said, the 4 hour time frames looking clean. We're still in some of this trade on US 30 as well. I closed. No, I think this is the trade that I'm in actually. These are the last trade that we took. I closed all this. The first trade idea is what running from here. But now the idea is one thing. We counter trend. We have a massive push here. We create a new high. We then pull back. Give us a new higher low. Now it's giving us a new higher high. Our idea is one thing. We want to see this market pull back again to the areas we want so we can look for entry reason and then push it to the high. So that is that for US 30. At this point, to be honest, what I'm gonna look for here is gonna save myself some time here and just I wanna see only this from lowest and then delete this here, this trade. I wanna see that from the 15-minute time frame. Okay. I'm only doing this so when I go to like the 4 hour time frame, I don't see the things. I can have a clean chart. So at this point, to be honest, we're just looking for the same thing. I just want to see this market because we're starting to see something like this. So if we pull back furthermore, do something like this, we can definitely see US 30 doing something like this. And that's the idea what I'm looking for. If I go into the weekly high, well, you see in this candle closes like this in US 30. This week you just need to be thinking one thing, buy.
Ah,
Even if market then come back all the way here in this week candle, because okay, this is the first week actually we fully close above the previous month. So even if this week candle come and then retest to the same area again, it did retest the area on the lower time frame, but you see on the weekly time frame it didn't retest it yet. So if the weekly pushes this market aggressively back into the area, it's technically just going to look something like this. This week is just dumping, so we can start to see the candle start to reject. So those rejecting from here will be in those trade until this candle turn to be something like this. That is the power of understanding when the market is retesting. So the daily time frame looking good as well. This year we might have a pullback back into these exhaustion areas here and then push continue higher. And then 4 hour time frame, technically you can see we're just expecting the same thing. So the areas that I'm looking for right now, to be honest, might be this area here. So what I can do, if I want, I can highlight that area like this. Call it something like patient. It's what we were doing here. We just consolidating. We break, we spike it, and then cause. But we can definitely see now we might have even clear retest and then continue going higher. So yeah, USDT is looking good. We're just now gonna use this area for this reason, and then go for Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Got the Wednesday 5 p.m. See what we can have from here. Again, now the idea is one thing. If USDT trade, we're expecting to rebound from here, but if you don't do that, you just break that area and come all the way here. Anyways, who cares? Because the weekly time frame perspective, we can come and retest that area one more time. But if we just trade back below this area and then we see price trading back above the area that we're looking for, we just need to look for a retest and then buy one. So that's the idea. At this point, when there is no reason to go lower on US30. All we know for sure, market needs to go and take out this high here. Can this can happen by tomorrow morning or Tuesday. But that's the idea. Going to lower time frame right now, this is gonna cause yourself confusion and dumb trading decisions, bro. But that is that for the market. And now we are ready, bro. Let's see if we can make another few dollars. But yeah, we're ready for the week. I'm ready for it. Now we can focus on fucking and let this build up. Oh, not fucking problem. Put that trader lots here. Let's break. So until that hits, I know we still trading below the lower level. So that is how I'm gonna leave this for now. But with that being said, I'm gonna leave it here and go to the fucking gym.